Let's talk Pack. Aaron Nagler joins us now. He's brought to you by Miller Lite, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There's a difference. And by Rogers Behavioral Health. Good morning, Mr. Nagler. How are you?
Good morning, Czabe. Good morning, boys. Happy Tuesday.
I have for you the upcoming Packer December schedule right there. Big load of cupcakes.
Very
Fresh
nice.
from my... There you go.
Well done.
What is your estimated win total now as we head towards the final five?
No, I don't play that game, Czabe. Look, they're 6.5-point favorites in New York. Suddenly now they are the hunted instead of the hunter. Like, just beat the Giants. Because, look, would it surprise anyone that I am speaking with at this moment, all three of you gentlemen, if they went out to New York and caught the L? Would it surprise you in any way, shape, or form?
It'd surprise me. It'd anger me.
No.
It would infuriate me.
Exactly, Josh. Josh knows what's up. No, they're a very young team. They've caught lightning in a bottle here. They're on a run. They look good. But Matt always says it. You can get humbled very quick. And losing to the Giants on Monday night would be humbling.
We don't know yet if this is just a team that plays up to their opponent. And maybe they go up against
possibility, right?
They played really good against really good teams. They also played okay against an okay team in the Chargers. Mm-hmm. They've also played really bad against some really bad teams.
That is correct, sir. You are correct. And look, I don't want to take away from the fun and excitement around Jordan Love and his performance and this team, the way they seemingly are headed towards a playoff run. But, man, you got to beat the Giants. That's what it's all about.
All right. Speaking like a coach, fair enough. On a scale of 1 to 10, though, pleasant being 1, insufferable being 10, given that you warned everybody. You said, if Jordan Love is good, I will be insufferable. Where are you, scale of 1 to 10, right now?
I'm on a 7.5, probably. I'm certainly on my way, trending towards insufferable. I mean, he's definitely showed out these last, 4 games. There is no denying it. You got to be excited. The fact that, you put a game together or 2 games, and it's like, you keep waiting for, maybe he falls back to earth a little bit. But, man, I'm telling you, that game against the Chiefs, we've said it every week, seemingly for the last month, best game of his career. But I don't think there's a guy who put together a better performance in the face of that rush, against that particular defense all season long. I mean, he is just balling out.
What makes your leg tingle the most about him right now? Because I've got 3 things. One is the arm angle ninja-ness is so cool.
Right.
The hip ability to swivel and to move 8-way joystick in the pocket is great. But I love that he does not get freaked out in a muddy pocket. There was that touchdown to Watson where he stepped up just a couple steps, not to run, not to panic, just to give him a little more room.
Yep.
And then saw Watson come screaming across the end zone where, if you watch the All-22, wasn't even in the frame when the ball was released.
Yeah, he knows where he's going to be. I mean,
what tingles your leg the most?
Those are definitely all part of it. I do think a big part of it for me is how unflappable he is. There's zero doubt that, especially against that team, and I love that he admitted post-game that he had that game circled because of the fact that, Spagnuolo, I'm not going to say embarrassed him that first outing in Kansas City, but he certainly showed him no respect as far as how much pressure he sent. And then in this game, I thought LaFleur had a phenomenal plan as far as how to take care of the pressure, allow Jordan more authority at the line of scrimmage, give him tools to kind of maybe not take advantage of, but counteract the pressure. And Jordan, calm as anything, just sat there, used his cadence, made the Chiefs kind of show what they were probably going to do, and then took advantage of it again and again and again. He was in complete control of that game from kickoff to the whistle. I was absolutely impressed.
It's just weird he said he had it circled because it was a spot start due to COVID where he had very little prep time and they had a bad game plan and they admitted as such, and he got blitzed into oblivion as a first start ever.
Yep.
Like, of all the things you'd go, okay, it just won
my day. Was stacked against me.
The competitor in him said, I'm pissed about that game.
Yeah,
and probably not where he sat his mom and his girlfriend.
Right. There's that as well. But do you get that from him as far as his public avail? You know what I mean? Like when you hear him speak publicly, I don't see a hot-tempered, vindictive, like I'm going to kick your ass kind of guy. But that sure suggests that competitor is in there. Despite the calm exterior, sure feels like still waters run deep.
Yeah. Negs, one of the things we talked about, obviously Jordan Love, the way that he's played has been fantastic. We've both said Joe Barry needs to go at some point throughout this season.
Lord.
This defense is still but this defense now is playing. I mean, hey, you got to look at what they did against this Chiefs. Like, it's playing.
Can't argue with the results.
Still feel the same way.
I'm resigned to Joe Barry sticking around now. That's where I'm at. Like, I want different play style. Like, there's zero doubt about that. But you cannot argue with the results. As frustrating as it is, as mad as I get on a 3rd and 18 where we rush 3 and allow Kelsey to be wide open downfield for a gain of 22, as much as that pisses me off in the moment, you step back and you look at the results, you're doing the job. You're keeping points off the board. They are number 9 in the NFL as far as points allowed. That is literally the job description. And Joe's doing it. And again, I wish they had a different type of play style. But you factor in, he's throwing out Corey Ballentine out there at corner, like, no disrespect to Corey, but like, that's not Jair Alexander. And they're going toe-to-toe with Mahomes and limiting their ability to score points. That is a job well done. As much as, again, in the games, I get very frustrated, the results speak for themselves.
Well, you brought that up, and this is something that's really caught my eyes the last couple of weeks, is there's been a lot of no names out there. And I don't mean it as disrespect, but like people,
no, I get you.
Okay, where's Jair? Right? Like the list of injuries and all the, but guys have produced. To me, that's coaching because they're motivating them. But then it also puts up a big old question mark. What? All the other players that you're paying significant money to, why haven't they produced this year? Help me figure that out, because when they were on the field, this defense wasn't producing.
It's kind of a fascinating thing because Jair, he's one of the best. When he's out there, he is like far and away their best corner, one of their best defensive players. But yeah, for whatever reason, the results haven't been there. Although I will say, they have, whether Jair's been in there or not, or other guys, Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, what have you, all have been kind of in and out throughout the season, right? Hasn't really mattered as far as limiting scoring. And now they've won a lot of those games recently, but they were doing the same thing when those guys were in there and they were losing games early in the season. The offense just wasn't holding up their end of the bargain. How many games were we sitting there late in the game, offense has the ball in their hands with a chance to win it, and they just haven't been able to close the deal. I mean, hell, just as recently as Pittsburgh, that was the case. And as frustrating as that game was, they ran all over the Packers, and that the run defense is still an issue. They still had a chance to win the game. They still held them to under 24 points. I mean, in a league where your scoring is down overall, but everything is set up for the offense to succeed, if you can keep an opponent to around 20, you got a shot at winning if your offense is anywhere near competent.
Nags, I wanted to ask you about what you think the change was, because it seemed like starting on Thanksgiving, and now we saw it against the Chiefs too, it was just a switch, not just with a specific player, not just with even a specific side of the ball. They just went from playing C- football to A+ football like that. And it's hard for me to believe that they all just figured it out. The wide receivers figured it out. The defense figured it out. Jordan Love figured it out. Everyone figured it out at the same time in the same game. This is crazy to me.
I mean, I think it's obviously not that simple, but I will say, you look at the couple games before that, and you saw they were coming up, right? The Chargers game, the Rams game, like they were starting to, like you say, figure it out. Probably not as smoothly and as cohesively as we've seen in the last two games, but I will say, I think there's something to getting the ball first, taking control of the game on the scoreboard that has allowed them to operate in a different way. I don't think it's any mystery. You look at that Chiefs game and the way they were so methodical in the two opening drives, and they end up with 2 touchdowns, and the Chiefs have their own significant drives, which end in field goals. Well, now it's 14-6. You have complete control of the game. The Chiefs were chasing them the entire time. The Lions, from the opening gun, were chasing the Packers the entire time. I think getting on the front foot really plays into everything that this team does well, especially on the defensive side, because if you're up multiple scores, Joe Barry knows he can play coverage. He can rush those 4 up front. They can pin their ears back and get after these quarterbacks. More often than not, that's going to be a successful formula. So I think, obviously guys playing better, that is part of it. But I do think these last 2 games, getting on the front foot has really helped.
All right. Tommy DeVito is apparently out for Monday. He's going to be benched for Tyrod Taylor, who's back from injury. Boomer Esiason has ripped the move, saying you need to know if he can play at all to see if he's going to be Daniel Jones's backup. Taylor's on the last end of a deal. He's a veteran guy. And DeVito's the great story. He's the only reason to watch the Giants because he's a local kid. I
do love it, man. I do love that story.
It is a great story. He's played better the longer he's been in there. But if you're trying to win games, which, is the point of the NFL, then I think Tyrod Taylor is the move there. Also, do you know what happened on the turkey leg with Jordan Love on Thanksgiving? Because that bothers me that there's not been a definitive answer. That an iconic tradition was whiffed on completely. And don't say, Greg Olson tore into it on TV. That was not the official turducken.
Nope.
That didn't have the extra legs sewn onto the side. It was just a turkey.
And look, Billy and I actually talked about this on Carry the G Radio last week. It is absolutely insane to me that every other game, the stars of the game, got to tear into their turkey legs afterwards. Jordan Love left high and dry, and we have been given absolutely no, other than a denial tweet from Greg Olson himself talking about how that wasn't the bird, much like you're suggesting. We've gotten absolutely nothing from Fox. And I know A.J. Dillon was wearing a Fox owes Jordan Love a turkey leg T-shirt yesterday in the locker room. I don't think this is going away. I don't think it should. I think I demand answers.
Right. Granted, this is not Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, but it's still a mystery that I want to close the loop.
We need some closure. I mean, I think to heal Packers Nation, we need some closure. We need an answer. I just need an answer because it makes zero sense.
All right. Well, would you be surprised if they lose to the Giants? Yes, I'll be surprised if I woke with my head sewn to the carpet, as Clark Griswold said in Christmas Vacation. Points scored per game, Giants 31st. Total yards per game, 32nd. Passing yards per game, 32nd. And yet time of possession, they're 8th. So in other words, they can't do much with the ball, and it takes forever. Nagler.
Well, everything you just said. Everything you just said. You know what it reminds me of? Earlier this season, we're like, the Denver defense, historically awful. Yes. The Raiders are historically inept. And what did the Packers do? They went in and they took the L. I don't take anything for granted. Every single week.
Every day is a holiday. Every meal's a banquet. I appreciate that.
Formation of parade. I love the core.
All right, today, Carry the G Radio, noon to 2, right here on the game. Right, Mr. Nagler?
That is correct, sir. Can't wait to talk to Billy and take calls and texts and all the stuff from the fine-looking listeners out there.
And even though I know that you're rocking the beard now, I did see on one of my social media feeds an ad for a Stormtrooper-inspired electric razor that was black and white.
Perfect.
Would you like that for Christmas?
That'd be great.
Is that what Santa?
Is that it's going to be a little stocking stuffer?
I'll get you a Stormtrooper shaver. All right. All right. Mr. Nagler, thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you next week.
Aaron Nagler, our conversation.